So v'kol oisa yomim hu yoshen ben hanashim vehi ishana ben hanashim. The Parsha Peshat of the Gemara here is that so all those days. What do all those days mean? We got 14 days, 7 days of the Mishnah, and after then you get the 7 days of Avela. So even during the 7 days of the Mishnah, he's not allowed to be with her. Now, why is that? I think we saw in the Tosfos that the Varm Shel Tzina. We'll see later. But basically, this is a regel that his Sheva Brachas is a regel for the Chosin, and again, this is going to be the Svara to matter everything. And just like in the regel during the Avelis, you're not allowed to have tashmish. So too in his regel of the 7 days, he's not allowed. So kol oso yom, and then the 7 days of Avelis he does afterwards. Then it's more poshut that he would be also to have bia. So kol oso yom hu yishem ben anashim. So he's not allowed to be in yichud with him. Now here it seems that he gets 2 guys, and she gets two women. If we have a look at the Rosh in Ksovus, hu Yishem ben Anashim, he Yishem ben Anashim, kasav arrived Travaihu Davka. You need them both, Davka. Shahayu Anashim Yishanim in Hachatam, Anashim in Akala. So it says the Rosh here, he brings the Ravid, and he agrees with him that the guy needs 2 and she needs 3. Now the Rosh here in Moed Katan, he brings in Moed Katan where it also talks about Velus and Yichud. Kotav arrived to Travaihu Davka. Anashim Yishanim in Achatam, Anashim in Akala. But Davka Balayla. So here's another point he brings here. Davka Balayla Val Biyom Motor Liescharimo Kashar Nashim Ve'in Aser Ela Betashmish. Aval B'mini Precious that he can do the kois, that she can mix a cup for him. These are things you can't do when she's a nida. Watch his face and the hands is mutter. So that's the rabbit. Now, kol oisoi hayamim. It seems to say here that during the days he sleeps with the men and she sleeps with the woman. If you want to be medayik, you can't really be medayik this way because the yomim is all the days, so it's all the days and all the nights. But you could say something silly like in the day he has to sleep without her, but at nighttime he's allowed to be in yichud with her. But there's no real diak the other way. Now the pashtus of the Ravid is just saying that just during the night you need this because during the day you wouldn't be coming to hanky panky. So the Rosh goes off here and he's like, what are you talking about, Ravid? You don't need so much v'heflik lahakel b'yom. So he's been too machmir at night and he's too mekel miyom. So Ravid says the yom is nothing and the night is 2. Lahater yachid chibuk v'nishok. So you can kiss and hug the woman during the day, but a nida or something like that, you can't do it. So the Rosh doesn't like what the Ravid is saying, but here in Kosovus he just brings him and he seems quite happy with him. So what exactly is going on? Now the Gemara itself is going to come back to this. It goes through it a few times. And it's going to go. So later on, we'll come back to this idea of yichud, but there is a bit of an issue of yichud because also Yamim he sleeps with the men and she sleeps with the women. It's not necessarily so posh that's how it works. That why do we need 2 women? And I don't know if anybody has ever heard of the idea of a cotton that if there's a chuppah nida, then a cotton would kind of hang around. That's not what the Gemara says. Gemara says, again, this because it's going to go into nida later, but he has 2 men and she has 2 women. We'll have to come back to that. Ve'ein Rashi, ve'ein mischadim zem zeh. You can't have yichud together. Shama yibul. Maybe he'll have his way with her. The avol and somebody who's in Avelis is also betashmish. Hamita kiryafin be'elim maglachim. Again, this is all going on in Moed Katan. And even in the 7 days of Hamishte, shehen keregel noihechu Avelis shel davar tznius. This is what I spoke of before. That seemingly he'd only have to be pirush from his wife for 7 days of the Avelis, but well, he should be okay for the 7 days of Mishta, but that's like a regal, and we have things of tzina. Hayinu Isser Tashmish Kadal Command. This is all going to be explained later. So all the days, Shemei Hamishta V'Shel Avelis, was 14 days he's also, and they're not allowed in Yichud. But Davka Avid Shel Chatan or Ima Shel Kala. So Rashi brought this in the previous daf. So Davka, it's only if the father of the Chatan was nifter, or the mother of the kala. So delika inish tetarech lahu, aval ipchalo. So it's the father will make the suda for the chatan, and the mother will make the tachshitin, will make the jewelry for the kala. So. And the Meforshim say that the tachshitin are makalkel. They're going bad for some reason, and the food is obviously going bad. But you can't just keep it indefinitely. But the tachshitin are also going bad. So she's going to need the extra tachshitin. There'll be no one to do it for her. He's going to need the wedding being done for him and the food being done for him. And there'll be no one to do it. So therefore you have the hefsid. Since you have the hefsid, so therefore you get the heter of the brisa. And that's basically the end of the brisa. Now, I missed this. Missed that bit. So we don't prevent the wife getting tachshitin for 30 days. So Rashi here says, "V'afalpi shehen yemei avelis," even though that they're yemei avelis, the shar b'nei adam kol shekein mishloshim ve'elech. So even though that they are avelis for other people, so those 30 days are the 30 days of avelis. So you don't prevent her from having the 30 days of avelis. Now, the Masha from Rashi here, that if it's avelis for other men and they're not getting married, are they allowed to have tachshitin? But this the end of Rashi is that kol shekein misham ve'elech is that you don't prevent her, you don't have to stop her. So it's in the 30 days of avelis you have a havamina that other people aren't allowed to wear jewelry, but this woman is allowed to wear jewelry. Now, there's no law anywhere except for this Rashi that someone in avelis isn't allowed to wear jewelry. Tachshitin. This is where do you see this? That there's some type of isser and avelis of tachshitin. You can look through all the halachas. There's no such halacha, but Rashi holds that you're not allowed to put on tachshitin during the avelis. Now the Rosh, ve'emoni tachshitin min akala shloshim yom. Perish Rashi demoni min tachshitin misham avelis. Yeah, does anyone else have any other idea what the 30 days are? 30 days of avelis, poshers. We talk 30 yom. V'kol shekein lachar 30 yom. V'kasha. Mahadatani ba'avo rabti ha'isha moteres b'natilas shar u'moiche chatam dekol din shloishim deinu tosferes v'gichos eina noichik ba'isha. Ba'isha sish. So you have the dinim of avelis are not done by a wife shlotinagi abayla, so that she won't become disgusting to her husband. So all these things that the wife is going to during the avelis, she can't become disgusting. So therefore, in Cain, so therefore, all wives are allowed to have tachshitin for 30 days. There is no din of an oval isn't allowed to have tachshitin adarabba. She's not allowed to become a novel. She has to keep up appearances. So therefore, what exactly of these the 30 days can't be the 30 days of Avelis? So what is it? Venira delokaya hakta delail ela miltabaf ape nafshe. The Hachi Perusha. So this is its own thing. It's referring. It's not a continuation of above, but it's its own thing. Ein monim takshitin lakala sheira la avol betoch shloshim. So we have a whole new point here. You have a woman, and she becomes an avol during the 30 days. What 30 days? Betoch shloshim yemei chupasa. Between the 30 days of her chuppah. V'hi mikdash kakala, and she is getting all dressed up like a kala. So afila betoch shevish yemei avela shelo tisnana al baila. Dechol shloshim shel chubatos zman simchas chatem v'kalehu. So all 30 days. So you'd think that maybe that during the 7 days that of avela. So she got married. It's nothing to do with the rest of the brisa where they haven't got the chuppah yet. She got chuppah, no problem. And then during the 30 days of the simcha chatem v'kala, then she became a novel, and so all those 30 days of the Simchas Chad Mekala, since it's during the Veilus, she's not allowed to become a novel, and therefore she keeps her takshitin on the straight time. You have the Shrika Shalot Navel Atzma Velo Chayla Alei Avelus Klal. She doesn't even become Avelus at all. Lagabe Hanach Mili Va'achar Sheneg Shevis Yemei Avelus Mashlim Aleihim Ad Shloshim Yom. So, and once she's finished the 7 days of Avelus, then she continues on till the 30 days. Yeah, this is all good. No problem. So Rashi says it's the 30 days of Velis, and the Rosh is 30 days of Chuppah. Now, has anyone ever heard of 30 days of Simcha Chatan V'Kala? There's a Sheva Brochas. There's a 7 days of Simcha Chatan V'Kala. What the hell is the Rosh talking about here? This is a Chiddush Otzim. That there's 30 days Choshel Chuppahs, man. Simchas Chatan V'Kala. This is a huge chiddush of the Rosh. That there's 30 days, and Rashi holds no such thing. You get 7 days of Simcha of the Chatan V'Kala, and then V'Zo you get 30 days of Avelus. So therefore Rashi learns that it's 30 days of Avelus, Kol Shloshim Yom of Avelus, and so he's mechadish this idea that an oval isn't allowed to have makeup or bedeck themselves nicely. So therefore the Rosh is choylek, and so the Rosh is choylek, and you get it's 30 days of Simchas Chol Mekala, but he's mechadish that. There's no such then outside of the Rosh. These 30 days. I mean, to get married. This is 30 days. 30 days of Shloshim Shel Chupas Zman Simchas Chatan V'Kala. It's not a Shana Rishona. It's a Simchas of the Chatan V'Kala for the Chuppah of 30 days. Simchas Chatan V'Kala. It's the same as the day of the marriage. Simchas Chatan V'Kala. It's a big chiddush of the Rosh their L'Chayra. So so somehow skip that. We'll fill that in. So. So this is referring to that it's only for your father and your mother that this all happens, but another oval, then you don't get married. You're not allowed to get married. You have the din of the seven, the Avelis of 7, and you're not allowed to get married. So Tosfos, v'hu adin im Avelim Machmashar Kerubim. So it's the same din if they are oval through other Kerubim. So that you can't get the marriage. But Tema, the Amar, prepare Gimel to Moyakalt. And again, Moyakalt is where all the dinim of Avedas is going to be. Mesa, Ishta, Yasser, Lisha. Ad Shiever Gimel Regalim. So if the guy's wife dies, so he's an oval and he has to wait a whole year. If he doesn't have children, he can get married immediately. So this guy's meant to be an oval, and his wife died, so that's not his father or his mother, and he can get married immediately. So how can he get married immediately? We said that you have to wait. You're not allowed to get married immediately. You have to wait until after the 7. Mishom Puri and Revia. So this mitzvah, that's why we're allowing it here, because of the mitzvah. As Rashi Tosfos said in the Bilis mitzvah, it's all about the Puri and Revia. Hanicha lo banim ketanim mutter lisa la'alter. If he has little children, he can get married immediately because of parnostam. So if he doesn't have children, he can get married immediately. If he has small children, he can get married immediately. So the only time, seemingly, you can't get married immediately. You have to wait 3 months, 3 years. Shlosh Regalim is like a whole year. So the only time you have to wait the whole year would be if he has banim gedolim. So if it's mutter, the haka amar aval ibchalo mashma debain lo banim askinan. Right. So this is an important point in the Tosfos. So I asked before, if the father won't be there to make the Gemara says davka his father, because the father's going to make the meal and there's no one to make the meal if the father's not there. So the question is why can't the chassan just do his bloody meal himself? Why is he sitting around waiting his father doing it for him? So Tosfos answers, "Umashman to be'ein lo bana maskinim." How do we know we don't have children? So Tosfos is saying he's just a little kid. The guy who's getting married here is just a little kid. I don't know, he's just a little kid. Because the Gemara says it's davka with his father. Because there's no one else that can do it for him. So that means that the father's making the meal for the son and the mother is making the tachshitin for the girl. So therefore the girl can't do her own jewelry because she's too young, and the boy can't make his own wedding because he's too young. So therefore we're dealing with a bacher. The bacher doesn't have any kids, and therefore he should be able to get married immediately. But yet our Gemara says that ibchalo, and that anyone else is going to have a veilus first. That when it says la altar, it doesn't get married miyad. Eila kloimer motor la acher zayin. That when it says la altar in moed cotton, it doesn't mean la altar miyad. It means la altar after 7 days. He doesn't have to wait a year. But so you can get married, but to have relations, he has to wait till after 30. So this is a story that the Yosef HaKohen, his wife was Nifteris, and he said to her sister in the Beis HaKavurus. So the Beis HaKavurus seems like they're burying her sister, and then he says to her immediately, "See, parseni b'ni achosecha, go out and give parnasa to the children of your sister," meaning marry me, and then you're chayiv to take care of my children, which are your sister's children. And therefore he is marrying her in the Beis HaKavurus. He's marrying her immediately, but he wouldn't have bia until after 30 days. Lo ba'aleya adzman meruba. He didn't have bia with her, so I think this is what it says in the Gemara. He didn't have bia with her until zman meruba, my zman meruba shloshim yom. So he didn't have bia for 30 days. Since he didn't have bia for 30 days, so therefore he got married immediately, but didn't have bia till 30 days later because of a velus. Miklal de kansa toch shloshim. So therefore he got married within 30. But toch sheva vaday aser. G'demuchach haka. So to get married during the 7 days is for sure aser, as we're saying here, because aval ibchalo means you can't have your chuppah before the velus. So that if it's anyone else except for the father and the mother, because there's a hefsed with the father and the mother. So you think the father and mother actually be more machmir, but there's a hefsed, so therefore for the bachurim, and then it's less to do. So therefore here, Tok Sheva, it is also to get married, but by the story of Yosef, we see it's much to get married, but Tok Shloshim, and then after Shloshim he can have bia. Mashana Marla, Beis HaKavurus. So he said to her, like at the grave when they were burying his sister, Lo hayazeh kanisa ele sheduchen ba'alma. So he didn't get married. It wasn't nasa. He didn't do kedushin with her and nisuyin. It says sheduchen ba'alma. Now sheduchen ba'alma seems to be some type of engagement that they're kind of set up together in a kind of non-binding. It might be something like a vort or something where you have a kind of you have a kind of binding that's not bound and it doesn't really do anything, but she's in a bit of trouble if she wants to marry Cohen afterwards. if she doesn't go through with it. But there's some type of connection, but it's not a halachic connection that needs a get. So that's they kind of made. So it would be called in the vernacular they got engaged, because getting engaged doesn't mean anything. If you get halachically, but if you get engaged, so there's a connection between the two people. So something like that happened between them. So they were at the basic avurs that they agreed to get married at a future date within 30 days. They got married within 30 days, and then they had bia after 30 days. V'nira l'rid vadai oisoi sheyesh lo banim ketanim motor lisa toch shloshim. So for sure, somebody who has children, small children, his motor within 30 is a mashma in the of the Yosef a Cohen. So he had little children, so therefore he was allowed to get married. Aval oisoi she'ein lo banim klal asr lisa ad la'achar shloshim. But somebody who doesn't have any children at all is not allowed to get married until after 30. So this guy doesn't have. Our Bachor in our story here is not allowed to get married until after 30 days. Kevin she'ein yachol the boil toch shloshim. Since he can't have bia in the 30 days, he can't get married in the 30 days. Okay, Mashua in Mesechet Smachos, Titania Bama Devim Oimrim Kashiyesh Lo Banim. So what's the Bama Devim Oimrim? That there's 3 regals. When do you have to wait 3 regals in order to get married, like a year? When he has children, Gedolim. Aval Ein Lo Banim or Sheyesh Lo Banim Ketani Motor. This goes against what the Reed just said, but he'll explain himself. But Ein Lo Banim is his case where he says he has to wait 30 days. Or Sheyesh Lo Banim Motor Lisa Acheres, somebody else La Acher Shloshim. Mashma da Aser Filu Lisa Toch Shloshim. So that means it's Aser even to just do Nesuyin in the 30. Even though that so basically the Brisa said that if he has Banim Katanim, he is not allowed to get married until 30 days. That's not true, because we saw from Yosef that he's allowed to get married in 30 days if he has little children. Yeah, we've got 3 categories: big children, little children, no children. So this is the middle case. Mikom knock it Acher Shloshim, even though that's not true. Mishom Ein Lo Banim. We're just putting these 2 things together because both Ein Lo Banim and Banim Katanim, you don't have to wait a year. So they have the same din. They don't have to wait a year. They don't have the same din by 30, but they just slop them in together to say you don't have to wait the year. For Rabbeinu Tam, Rotzeloimar, so the Ein Lo Banim Afila Bol Shari. So now Rabbeinu Tam is saying that you Shari B'Toch Shloshim. So up until now we're saying that it's completely austere to have bia within 30 days. Rabbeinu Tam is coming and saying if you don't have children, even to be boiled in 30 days is mutter after the 7. So everyone's saying that the first 7 days, forget about it. But after 7, now even without children, he can have bia, because we were saying you can't have bia until after. But now Rabbeinu Tam is saying if you don't have children, you can have bia after 7 before 30. Because again, Yosef had bia after 30 and got married within 30 because he had little children. So now we're saying without children, you can even have bia. Why? Misham Pir Rivya, Vahahi, Misham Pir Rivya, which is a big mitzvah. Vahahi de Smachos, Eino Mityafishka Perusha. So we can't explain the Brisa in Mesechet Smachos. Mesechet Smachos is one of the 12 Mesechtas. It's the 12 Mesechtas are by the Gaonim and not by the Tanaim. But we can't explain Mesechet Smachos according to the Shita of Rabbeinu Tam, doesn't fit at all. Venira de beyeshlo banim katanim shari lisa. So yeshlo banim katanim is the case of Yosef, so he can get married, and filo im he nami avela. So even if she's an oval, so I would think that if the guy has small children, so he's allowed to get married, but not to an oval, because she's not allowed to get married. B'tok shloshim. She doesn't have the mitzvah of she doesn't have the guy. The wife died, and now he needs someone to take care of the children. That's the heter for the little children. So who's to say that he can marry someone else who's an oval? So this is the heter. We're saying now that even if she's an oval, we can also get married because of the Parnasa B'Nav. Afal Pi she'efsher ba'acheres, even though that he can get married to someone who's not an oval to take care of the children. He can still mutter to marry an avila. Kademuchak of the Yosef Akon, because it's proven there Shahayista Avela Meachusa that the wife that he married, her sister died, so she was an oval and he was an oval, so the two ovals got married. Mehu ein kol kach raya d'shemeshani hasam. It's not such a great raya because maybe there's a separate case there. Lefishahi terachem al banav, that she will have extra rachamim on her nieces and nephews as opposed to some random woman. Al gabi achota yoter me'acheres, and that's why he davka wanted to marry her. So therefore, there's a special heter of terachem al bnei achota. And therefore, there was an extra heter to marry someone who was an oval, but an oval stam, maybe not. The Afal gav the Tanam Perika Choyletz. This is the Involvement. Kol Nashim Yetaros Chutz. So all the Nashim are allowed to get Arusa, so they're allowed to have Kedushin. So we said over there in Yevomus that women have to wait 3 months for Mavchin. So as soon as they get divorced, you're not allowed to get remarried till 3 months later, because maybe she's pregnant from the previous husband, and then you won't know. And that's a little plug. So therefore, even if they're separate from people, even if he's been out of town, all these type of things, a little plug. And therefore, as soon as the wife gets the kedusha, gets the get, she's not allowed married for 3 months. And it says all those women, they can get kedushin immediately, except from an almana because of avelus. And there we have no chiluk there between children and no children. So it's mashma that she is also a fila mishiyesh lo banim. So now we're saying that this woman, if she's an oval, she's not allowed to get married even with somebody who has children, banim katanim, because it says that all those women that after getting a get is not allowed to get is allowed to get kedushin except for an oval, of a woman who's a almana. Now she's in a velus, and therefore she has to wait. And therefore we see that she can't get married to someone with small children, because she avla hasa mishom. So that's not a kasha on what we're saying, because that is because the belav hachi asura the tzricha lahamtin gimel chodashim. So she has to wait 3 months before she can have bia as soon as she gets the get. So therefore she can have bia anyway in this month of avelus, and therefore we just don't let her get married at all. So mishom havchana is that we're going to see who the real father is. So therefore she has 3 months of asur bia. Therefore we don't let her get married, even though it's not the avelus. She is married. She's mutter as a aval stam. She's mutter to get married. But here she has an overriding isser of 3 months being for the bia. So for her we're machim. So even if somebody's mother or father was nifter, they're able to get married after 30 days. Everybody, you can go to the base of Mishta after 30. So why over there for other people you can go? So if a karov that's not your mother or father, you're an oval, so then you can go to the wedding. Nichnas lebeis mishta. You can go to the party after 30 days, but father and mother you can't go to the party after 12 months. So how do we say that it's mutter? Rehu b'shar smachus. That's for other parties. You can't go to other parties. Aval lisa isha shehi mitzvah yisera, but to marry a woman which is an extra mitzvah is mutter. So there, since we have this mitzvah and it's your wedding, is different to just a party. It's not a stam party, it's your party, and it's got the extra mitzvah, therefore it's mutter. And even someone who has children is mutter within 30, because the pasuk says in Koheles, "B'boker zera es zerecha." In the morning you will sow your seeds, and in the erev al tanach yadecha, don't leave up your hand. So you'll be working in the day and you're working in the night. And since it says zera, it's an allusion to Pururuvu and having children. Pururuvu is a technical halacha that you're yotze with a boy or a girl, or some say 2 boys. But even if you are yotze Pururuvu, there is this idea of keep on having children. And again, this is an idea of the Charedim, where they keep on having children even though they're yotze the mitzvah of Pururuvu. The heavy raya, and we bring a raya immediate to Tanya, stam, and that's in smachos, 30 days, the nesuyin, every 30 days that you can get married. So you have to wait for 30 days in order to get married. And it's lo maflik ben aviv ve'imo. and it doesn't make the difference if it's the mother and father l'shar keruvim. So it's mashma de kulachu after 30 days. It's mutter to get married. That's for your own wedding. Ba'ama Rav Yosef Avi Raya the Rav of Rabbeinu Tam. This time Mesechus Smachos Behediyah. I'll call Hamesim Osher Leilach Lebeis Hamishta. For every dead person you can't go to the parties until you get filled the 30 days. And on your father and on your mother, it's Osher the whole year, 12 months. Eleim Ken Hayashal Mitzvah. If it's your mitzvah. So if your mitzvah is you getting married, Alma Shari Bechol Mishta Shel Mitzvah. So therefore you're allowed to do it after 30 days for any mitzvah of yours to get married. B'tzorchi, and this is Toisus now asking the question, Kai, we're asking back on this Brisa from Mesechus Smachos, Kai Nami Aresha, B'shari Afilu Tok Shloshim Yom, is that for other Karuvim, because the ratio is talking about the Karuv, so is it the Kai also in the ratio on the Karuvs, and it's mutter even B'toch Shloshim Yom for the Shar Karuvim, or is it going only on the Seifa, and therefore you're only allowed to get for your father you're allowed to get married after 30 days, and that's the Tosfos. Now the Gemara continues. Amar Rafram bar Papa. Amar Rav Chisda. This is the Chiddush of Rav Chisda. Lo Shano. So what's the Lo Shano? This whole din of that you're allowed to push off the Avelus. Eilish anointing mayim al gabe basar. So you put the water on the basar. So putting the water on the basar, Rashi says, Shuv eina roi lemoichroi b'makulin. So there is nobody who will buy it. You can't sell it anymore, because once you put the water on, it must have some type of they would salt their meats to keep it going. And therefore, once it starts to deteriorate, so you put water on it to freshen it up, and once you start to freshen it up, it's going to go bad. So now you have to eat it soon. So therefore, once you put the water on the meat, I don't think we did this Rashi. There's nobody to do. We said that when the father dies, im yafsid ma shechichinu. So if you lose what you've already prepared, because you're not going to get married immediately, so therefore there's no one to do it for you. Why won't the guy do it? Because he's just a little kid. And again, a bocher in the time of Toisus could be, obviously now, a yeshiva bocher who's 19, 20 is completely useless and has no life skills, and there's no way that he'll be able to organize a wedding. But back then they had life skills. And so, but the guy could be, he's 14, 15, 16. They got married young. I don't know exactly how young or what exactly a bocher is. But the guy will be like lost. He's a 15, 16-year-old. He doesn't know what he's doing. So if you lose what's prepared, then we'll be in trouble. Now here we're saying what type of loss? Once you put the water on the basar, then it starts to deteriorate. If you don't eat it now, the clock is ticking. Just sell it, and then you get the money and you prepare the meal next time. Amarava ubakrach, and in a big city, so Rava says even if you have a big city, even if you put the water in the meat, you'll be able to sell it because you're in a big city. So therefore, you'll be able to. So in the city, it's a good market. So like if you stick something on eBay, if you buy something on eBay and sell it on eBay, you'll pretty much sell it for what you bought it for. So when you're in a big city, so people will buy it. So you put the meat. You're not going to lose anything from the meat. Amar of Papa Ubakafar in a small city, in a small town, you get like a country, a small place, in the country. Even if you don't, you can't even sell it there, or if you haven't put the water on, because no one lives there. You'll get 25 people in the town, and you gotta. So you have like in Fiddler on the Roof, he's got 25 families in the whole in the whole shtetl. So you have a small place there. So you've got one milk and one this and one that. So people aren't going to buy it. So if in the krach, so Rava just said in the krach, if you put the water on, so then, in the krach, even if you put the water on, it doesn't count. And in the kafar, even if you haven't put the water on, you still can't sell it. Still go ahead with the wedding. So therefore, the Rav Chisda heichi meshachalo. What the hell was Rav Chisda talking about? Amar Rav Ashi could go in masa machisia. The city, the mafka mikrach, it's too small to be a krach, so it goes out of being a city. Umafka mikafer, but it's too big to be a dead end. I'm sure there's a hole in the middle of nowhere. So Rav Chisda the maflik bein nasan alon nasan, because there are cases. So Rav Chisda was making the difference between when you put the water, you didn't put the water. Heichim shachale lo b'krach v'lo b'kafar. So moitzi michlal krach u moitzi michlal kafar. Ketole mikafar v'katana mikrach is explaining how did it go out of each of those dinim. And the Tosfos could go on masa machzia. So tema Rav Chisda my doichik lo masa mine al gave baser. So we have this big question on Rav Chisda, and this is a good idea, like to learn about what is an ukimta. Because again, we just make a kimta. Gemara's making a kimtas all the time. You're only making a kimta. And a kimta is not like a good answer. And a kimta makes the big halacha small. So if you want to say, so Kohanim can eat truma and Yisrael cannot eat truma. So you can say either way. You can say truma is mutter to eat, and you can say truma is asr to eat. If you say truma is mutter to eat, then you'll say, oh, it's only talking about Kohanim. So you make an ukimta. It's not that everyone can eat it, but that it's mutter to Kohanim. If you say it's asr to eat, you say I'm only talking about Yisrael, but it's mutter for Kohen. So either way, whatever you say, you're going to have to make an ukimta to give all the sadim. Now, which one would you say? Would you say that it's asr or that it's mutter? So the pasha says you say it's asr, because most people are not Kohanim. And therefore you'll give the most obvious case, which will be that truma is asr to eat, and then you can put a kimta, but kohanim is mutter because it's small. So here, Tema, so Rav Chisda, why was he daichi? What did he say? Just say that it's in the kafar. So why is he making this ukimta? So this is what he's doing in most cities. That's why he's making this funky akimta. Shehem Beinunis. So you've got a few big cities, you've got a few dead-end, middle of nowhere towns, but most cities are between the two. So therefore he had to make this akimta because that's most of the cities. The Hakikamar could go on Masa Machzia, it's a Veroi Verais. It's not just Stam Masa Machzia, but that's like most places. Mishum Chachi, Naket Nami, Bebraisa, the Maisi, Venasan Mayim, Al Gavai Basar, Mishum, the Iri Veroi Verais. And that's why the Ukimta, which you're saying here, is talking about these towns, because that's the Roiv towns are like that. So Tanya Kavese the Rav Chisda, so we have a brisa that says like this, and Tosis just refer to it the Mukila but Noisin Mayim al Gave Basar. He's talking like Rav Chisda. Hooray! Shahaya Pito Afuya. So he had his bread, it was baked, and his tavchul tabuach, and he shechted. He had a yain and mazog, and a wine was mixed. V'nosin Mayim al Gave Basar, and he put the water on the basar. Umeisa Viv Shel Chotan. And the father of the chotin died, or the imam of the kala. Then he machzis ha-meis lecheder. Then he put the mace into the room, and the chasen and the kala to the chuppah. And then you have the bias mitzvah, the poiresh, and noyik shevis yimei hamishta, v'achar kach noyik shevis yimei avelus. V'kol oisin hayamim. And all those days, hu yashen ben hanashim, ve'isha yashen ben hanashim. So he sleeps amongst the men, and his wife goes amongst the women. V'kein mi shepirsha ishtoi nida. Now this is the big difference here. That v'kein mi shepirsha ishtoi nida. So we're this is still in the price, and we're comparing all the dinim up to here. Hu yashem ben hanashim, v'hi yashem ben ha-nashim. V'ein monim tachshitim ben akala kol shloshim yom. Ben kach u ben kach lo yibo'ol lo be'erev Shabbos v'lo b'motzi Shabbos. So between this, then don't have relations on Erev Shabbos and on Motzi Shabbos. So that's that brisa. So that's the Tani Kavase, like Rav Chisda. So we said, So Rashi explains why is it like Rav Chisda? Because we're saying that it's nois mayim, and then Tosfos said that it is like the Tosfos says that this is the most cities are like that. That's why it's got that okimta. Bein kach bein kach bein yesh oines bein ein oines lo yibol bilis rishoina lo be'erev Shabbos belel Shabbos mepnei she'oisa chabura. So this is a halacha of Shabbos. For lo moitzi Shabbos lo kaman mefarish. So we're going to ask this question on Amud Bes. Now in here we have he had the bias mitzvah. And he's Pirish, and then he has 7 days of Mishta, and then he has 7 days of Avedus. So, he buried the dead on day 0, or on day 1. Then on day 7, so on day 1 he gets married. On day 1 he gets married, on day 1 he buries the dead. And he goes all the way to day 7. On day 8, he starts the 7 days of Avedus. And that goes for another 7 days. Now, when does the Shloshim end? Because usually it's going to be like 21 days after the 7 days. You have the 7 days of Avedus, and then you have 21 days after of the Shloshim. Or here, do the 7 days of Chuppah eat up 7 days of the Shloshim. And then you'll have 7 days and only 14 days left of the Shloshim. 2 ways to see it, no? So, you have in the Rambam, Hilchos Oval. Sheves Yemei HaChatunot Harei Keregel. So the 7 days of the Chatuna of marriages, they're like a regel. Umisha Meis Lo Meis B'toch Yemei HaMishta, and somebody who has a mace during his mishta. Afilu aviv v'imo mashlim sheva yemei hamishta v'achar kach noichi sheva yemei avelus. So you do the 7 days of the simchas chatam v'kal, and then afterwards you do 7 mei avelus. Umoine hashloishem yachar yemei hamishta, and you start counting the 30 after the days of simcha. So according to the Rambam, we go 7 days of Mishta plus 30, so you do 37 days in total. So from the day of burial, you 37 days later, you finish the Shloshim. Yeah, clear in the Rambam? Now, Moni Shloshim Miachar, Shloshim Avivelis, after the 7 days of Mishta. So you go 37 days. It says the Umoine Shloshim. No, just read the Rambam. You moina the Shloshim after the Mei Mishta. So you bury, then you do the 7 Yemei Mishta, and then you do the 30 after the Yemei Mishta, Simcha. And then you got 30 days. Says the Ravid, Shevis Yemei HaTachtona, the ad v'moina Shloshim, Miachar. So right, Amar Avram. This again, he's very sharp. This guy doesn't need many words. Lama lo yalo yemei hamisha l'shleishim. So, again, just have to learn the Ravid. The Ravid is saying that the 7 are included in the 30, just like by a regel. Any days of the regel are included in the shloshim. So to here, the whole heter is coming from the fact that it's a regel, and therefore the 7 are included in there. So therefore, he's not asking a question on the Rambam. He's saying the Rambam, you're wrong. The 30 days and 21 days after the simcha. The Rambam says 30. He says no, it's 21 days after the simcha. So lama yola. So he's saying, he's not asking a question. Lama lo yalu yimei mishta l'shloshim, because we see this happens, and therefore you're wrong, and therefore you're adding 7 days for no reason. Now for Svara, for the Rambam, how's he arguing on? Is that, as what the Meforshim say, that the ikr of the shloshim are, you don't cut your hair or wash your clothes, and therefore during the regel, they're also on the regel. You don't cut your hair and you don't wash your clothes on the regel. But for a chosin, it's mutter. So therefore, the regel will be 7 of the days of the shloshim, because it has the ikr parts of avelis in it. That's the avelis of the shloshim. But for a chosin, since this is mutter, sure, during the 7 days to wash his clothes and cut his hair, so therefore the sheva brach is not oila, but the regel is. Again, you could go back, and the Ravid holds that the second day Yom Tov is the Rabbanan, and the Simchas Chotan is the Rabbanan. The second day Yom Tov counts as 30. This is the Maklokas, but it's not necessarily so posh. It's just the Ravid is saying it works in the Regel. So if we go back into the Gemara, we see that there's Kol Shloshim Yom. Eimonim Tachshitim Enakala Kol Shloshim Yom. Now, what 30 days is this referring to? So, for Rashi, he holds that Afal Pisha Hen Yemei Avelus. So those 30 days are the days of Avelus that you can't, and also from Shloshim, and therefore Shloshim the Yelech. So therefore the Avelus is starting 30 days of Avelus from the Chuppah. So therefore, so the Rashi has to hold like the Ravid, that he's holding that there's just the 30 days of Avelus and it goes from the Chuppah time. Because afterwards, it's that why would it be the 30 days? It doesn't make any sense. And the Rosh isn't learning that the 30 days of Avelus, because the Avelus ends after 30 days, after the Chuppah. So why would she be, what? Yeah, because the Avelus ends after day 37, according to the Rambam. And therefore, why would she be mutter tachshitin for more than 30 days of the Simcha? So therefore, the Rosh has to be going like the Rambam, and Rashi has to be going like the Ravid, and that's the Maklokas here, is what this Shloshim is referring to. Amar Mar, Hu Yishem ben Anashim, V'hi Yeshana ben Anashim. So that's the quote from the Gemara. So Messiah lei le Rabbi Yochanan. So this is a support for Rabbi Yochanan. What did he say? Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Afal Pi, Sha'amru Ein Avelus b'moyed, Val Devarim Shal Tzino Noiheg. So, what does it mean? Shal tzina she'enu niker lebrio shehu avol bekach. So it's something that the people don't know. So you have the avelus, and you keep everything in the avelus in public. But the devarim shal tzina during the moed. So this is during the moed. But the devarim shal tzina is noiheg. So something that people won't know. You are noiheg avelus if people don't know that you're avelus. But during the moed, you don't do avelus that people can't see. And that's it's a bit of a shver, because so why does moed? So ein avelus b'moed. Why is there no avelus b'moed? Because moed is doich avelus. Aval devarim shel tzina noiheg. Why are you noiheg devarim shel let's tzina? And so Messiah lei had katani asur b'tashmish Shivish Yemei Hamish Shehen Lo Karegel. So again, this is, we see here the whole svara. It's in the Gemara here that the why is it a Messiah lay from our Chuppah guy to the Moyed? Rabbi Yochanan is talking about Moyed, because the Moyed it's Hen Lo Karegel. These 7 days are like to him for a regel. So therefore, it is a Messiah for Rabbi Yochanan, because we have the same din. So for the whole reason that he's Peiresh is because, so again, this idea of Peiresh is because it's a regel for him. In regel davar tzaniya, you are noiheg, and that the yichud is because of davar shebitzina. You have to keep your avelus. At Tosfos, Messiah leil Rabbi Yochanan moyed v'chatan meshava oitam u'komokum. So by Rashi, we're kind of saying it's a regel for him, and the moed's a regel. So therefore, the moed and the chatan, we equal them in every place. Because kahahi detani b'peraktam k'bo and chatan. The chatan shenone bo. Negas, another example that a chatan is like in a regel, because he has a nega, he has a tzaras. You give him 7 days if he made a mishta, and to his people with him, V'kein beregel noitzin lo kol yimos regel. So we have the same din, v'kein beregel, and the chotan, so the din of the chotan, and then we have a chen beregel. So therefore, Tosh is saying that the moed and the chotan, that in the whole Lishas they put them together. And we'll do the next Toisus. We'll do it next time. Just finish off the Gemara here. Darash of Yosef Ri de Rava, Mishmei de Rava. Lo shana ele shelo bal. So lo shana, Rashi de'ein nemnim ne'emonim le'eschayed. That we don't believe them to be in yichud. That if they're in yichud, we don't believe them. You ask them, did you have bia? They say no, and we don't believe them. So lo shanu, that's only if they haven't had relations. But if they have relations, then his wife sleeps with him. So how can you say that the Baal askinen? We're clearly talking about the case of Baal. Katani hu yishem ben anashim v'hu yishem ben anashim. Yeah, it's clear in the Brisa. Her whole thing is that nechnas lechupa and Baal bis mitzvah. To Katani boyo bis mitzvah lifnei kavurus ameis. Ela shelo Baal. So if he didn't, so the takif le yetzra, that the yetzer hara, that if he didn't have relations, so therefore you can't be in yichud because your yetzer hara will be too much. Ki kamar, where are these said? Rashi Rava lo shanu apirsa ishto nida kamar. So ki kamar apirsa ishta nida. So here we have the case of Rav Yosef says lo shanu eila shelo bal. Where in the person ishto, where do they have to have this yichud where they didn't have relations? But if they had relations, then she sleeps with him. So in yichud, they don't have relations because she's in nida. So again, this is the extra bit in this brisa. V'chein mi shapirsa ishta nida hu yeshem ben anashim v'hi yeshana ben anashim. So we're saying that's only if they haven't had relations after they got married. But if they have relations after they got married and she has pirsa nida, so then you don't need to, you're allowed to be in yichud, you just can't have relations. And there's other harchokas. So therefore we have the reisha, that they say that he's with the men and she's with the women. And then the chen misha pirsa ishto, she's with the men and she's with the women. So v'ha v'chein ketani, how can you say that it's on the pirsa nida? It's also on the case of the avelus. Uboil v'chein uboil bilas mitzvah upoirish. So daf beis chachi kamar. This is what it means v'chein. V'chein misha pirsha ishta nida v'lo bal. So this is in the sefer. So it's bain bal bain lo bal is for the avelus. So for the avelus is whether you had bia or whether you didn't have a bia. And also similarly for person ishta nida and didn't have bia, hu yishem ben nashim v'ishta yishem ben nashim. So hachi kamar Rashi kloimar ki kamar v'chein hu yishem ben nashim hu yishem ben nashim kamar. That's the ben the baal ben lo baal v'olem hach b'shelo baal kai. So that this a seifa of nida is only referring to the case of lo baal.